Levi Welton grew up in Berkeley, California. When he got married, he moved to the East Coast, where his wife Javi attends university. A couple of months ago, Levi's parents moved from Berkeley to Sacramento, and Levi and his wife really wanted to show support and help ease the transition.
So we figured one Shabbos that my wife can get off early, we could fly out there to visit my parents and see their new home. We flew out there, we saw their new place. I was so happy because it's a beautiful place and they're happy.
Shabbos morning, Levi and his father davened at the local Chabad led by Rabbi Mendy Cohen. And after davening, there was a kiddush for a bas mitzvah girl. Levi wanted to go home, but Levi's father insisted that they stay and participate in the simcha. During the kiddush, Levi went over to the father of the bas mitzvah girl, introduced himself, and struck up a conversation with him. And in the course of the conversation, Levi discovered that the father, who had introduced himself as Chaim Valencia, is a convert. And he and his entire family had converted a couple of years earlier.
So I said, oh, so interesting. How'd you pick your name if you converted? You must have had a story behind that.
Mr. Valencia told Levi that when he was on his journey to discovering Judaism, he had heard a class from a rabbi who had made the following statement.
When you see a Holocaust survivor and he not believe anymore in Hashem, he is a normal human. You have to respect him. You don't have to criticize. Just leave it like that. But if you have the opportunity to see a Holocaust survivor, to believe in Hashem, that people, that person is no more human. It's an angel.
Mr. Valencia told Levi that a couple of weeks after he heard that statement from the rabbi, he was in Westchester in Yonkers davening Friday night at a shul in Lincoln Park Jewish Center.
We start to dance in Lecha Dodi, so everyone start holding hands. So I holding the Rabbi Vinya's hand, and the other hand have a person. And he was dancing like a kid, like a baby, like a happiness, like a light. You can see light in his eyes. I turn my face, I see the numbers in his hand. When I see the numbers, I get chills. I feel, oh my gosh, I'm dancing with an angel.
So he turns to the man and he asks him, what's your name? And the Holocaust survivor said, my name is Chaim.
The sooner I hear his name, in my brain, the first thing happened is, you know what? When Hashem helped me and do my conversion, I will pick that name. I want his history, his values, his personality.
So I say, is this man who you dance with, is his name Chaim Grossman? So now the father's eyes pop out. How do you know? I say, because I'm the rabbi now of Lincoln Park Jewish Center. And Chaim Grossman comes to my shul every Shabbos. So he started to cry because he didn't know that Chaim was still alive.
So immediately after Shabbos, Levi Welton and Chaim Valencia got together and they took a picture. And Levi Welton went and blew up the picture, framed it, and called the president of Lincoln Park Jewish Center and asked them to send out an email to the entire congregation, letting them know that this coming Shabbos, the rabbi has a surprise sermon. Make sure to be there. The next Shabbos, Rabbi Levi Welton walks into shul. The shul was filled to capacity. Comes time for the sermon, Rabbi Welton walks up to the podium and starts talking about that week's Parsha, Parshas Shemos, the Parsha of names. And he shares with everyone how Am Yisrael, the Jewish people, suffered in Egypt. And despite all of their hardships, all of their suffering, they sacrificed and risked their lives to keep their Jewish identity alive, to hold on to their Jewish names. And then he said, here with us today, we have a man who's been through his own modern-day Egypt, the Holocaust. He risked his life to put on tefillin secretly in Buchenwald. He sold an extra precious shirt that he had to buy another piece of bread so he can fast on Yom Kippur. And then he asked Chaim Grossman to come up to the podium, and he took out the picture of Chaim Valencia. And he turns to Chaim and he says, Chaim, that man is carrying your name today. And he's keeping your legacy alive.
Chaim Grossman took the picture, he got up, and he gave a bracha to the whole community. The community was applauding. It was so surreal to be in that moment.
There wasn't a dry eye in the shul. Everybody was crying because Chaim Grossman never had any children of his own.
Chaim is a beautiful name. It's a beautiful name. But for me, it's not only the name, it's the person to hold in that name in this earth. And I have the opportunity to hold in his hand and understand how many tragedies this guy have to do, how many bad things he had to see. Now I have the opportunity to keep this legacy in my future generation.
All of us have names, and all of our names have meaning. If you ask your parents, you'll probably find out that you're named after a person from a past generation. And most likely, the person you're named after sacrificed for a certain value. Find out what that value is and make a commitment to follow in their footsteps and live by their example. And most importantly, it's up to you to keep their legacy alive by passing it on to the next generation.
If you want to stay Jewish, you somehow has to stick to the Emunah. We are related to God, and God created us, so there's no separation between God and humanity. It's one and the same.